Hi there, welcome to another episode of Vision Quest. If you are watching, you already know that there's something very special about this episode.
What is this?
What is this?
It's dangerous.
I don't want to touch you because I don't want to mess up your beautiful, beautiful hair at the moment. Mine's just dry. That's it. My name's Ashley Appap. Welcome. This is my podcast Vision Quest, and I'm here with my beautiful friend Erin. And this is, interestingly, the first time that we've met in public, like in public, yes. In person.
It is. We met via Zoom like 3 months ago.
Yeah, doing trivia.
Yeah, and that was the only thing to do on a weekly basis during our Melbourne lockdown.
It was very good though.
We have technically spent a lot of time together.
And before we start with, introducing Erin and everything, just like to say thank you for being here. If you're watching or listening, thank you. If you're coming back, thank you so much for coming back. If you're new, welcome! We've started with a very special episode. Our first in-person guest. So exciting.
Yes.
How are you feeling? What's been happening today?
I don't know what temperature I am. I think I really need to take my jumper off.
So, hot scoop. Erin's taking her jumper off because it is warm. That's probably from being around me.
Hey.
No.
Hey.
So, costume change, successful. We are basically... What have we been doing today? You got here maybe like an hour ago.
I met your puppy dogs.
Yes.
Who are beautiful.
Yep.
And I got to feel good because I was like, do they have poodle in them? And you're like, yes. I was like, I know what dogs are dogs. I know which dogs are which dogs.
I know dogs.
Yeah. So that was pretty special. Mm-hmm. And Ash made smoothie and it was a very good smoothie. I'm still going on it. What's in it?
Okay. So in this smoothie we have frozen banana, frozen passion fruit. Good. Regular banana.
Good.
Nothing against frozen ones. You're regular too, but you're not frozen. Kale. A whole avocado. Cashew milk. Lemon juice. Dates. Psyllium husk.
That's for your guts, right?
Yes. Yeah, and we both have gut issues, so it's helpful for us.
Yeah.
Chia seeds, and that's everything.
My favorite thing on that list is lemon juice. I love lemon.
Can you introduce who you are and what you do with yourself at the moment for everyone out there?
Hello. I smacked the thing. Hello. I'm Erin Michelle. I'm a stand-up comedian. I'm an improviser. I am a screenwriter. I am a normal writer. I am a visual artist, and I am an animator.
Yay! So many things.
And a Instagram poet. In lockdown, I just decided I can write a poem. I can write poems if I want. No one can stop me.
Hell yeah, you can.
Yeah.
Do you know who Catherine Cohen is? Kat Cohen?
Yes.
I really want to get her book. She's got a new book of poetry. Okay, so do you want to just get into the questions? Should we start? Question 1. What did you want to be when you grew up, and why do you think that is?
When I was growing up, I wanted to be an artist because I love to do art. What people would say to me is I'd be like, do. I'm an artist. I'm good at art. And then they'd be like, are you going to be an artist when you grow up? And then I'd get all indignant and I'd be like, I'm already an artist. As a little kid, yeah. And then I grew up and then I was like, I don't know if I can be an artist. This is really hard.
It's hard. But
I already was one. And also, I'm going to tell you... This is why you should all respect me as an artist. It's because when I was in preschool, at the parent-teacher interview...
Oh my God.
Apparently, this is what I've been told, like the preschool teacher was all excited and showed some of my paintings because I would give my paintings the right amount of toes and the right amount of hands. And apparently when you're 5, you're not meant to be like developmentally able to do it.
That's so cute.
That was my peak. That was my peak of like academia, of like knowing how many toes there are.
How dumb are other kids that they aren't doing that? That's my question.
One, they don't know how to count anyway. So if you can't count, then you can't remember you have 5 toes.
You were like, I think I could count.
Yeah. I would get...
You're like, Loki, I'm also a mathematician.
I got mad because they had these little like laminated cards with our name on it, and you're meant to take your name and so copy it when you wrote your name on your art, so that when it was drying and stuff, they didn't send the wrong painting home with the wrong kid. And I just write my name on it, and the teacher aide would be like, Erin, get the card, copy it out. You're not gonna, so that you write your name right. And I was like, I can write my name. It is 4 letters.
And I can count 4 letters, 5 fingers.
Yeah. Fingers, one more fingers than there are letters in my name, which I can write because I'm not stupid.
And that's maths. And so why do you think you've always known that you wanted to be an artist?
Because I've always liked it. I've always, it's something that I've never not been interested in doing. It's self-directed. I'm really happy working by myself. And you literally just do what you want. And I guess I was very, strictly raised. So I guess this is the first time I'm realizing that may have had some appeal.
Yes.
For the reason of creative freedom, where there were not other literal freedoms.
Oh, it's smoothie time.
Did you say smoothie time with the cadence of hammer time?
I did.
I think you may have.
Stop. Smoothie time. All right, let's do question 2. It is, what's your favorite thing about yourself?
I think that I am a fair person. I don't think I'm judgmental or non-judgmental. I think I'm able to, if I like someone, I don't just take their side. Or if I don't like someone, I don't just criticize everything they do,
Yeah.
Sometimes you can be like, oh, I don't like what you just did, but it's fair that you did it, So I feel like that's something that I find quite natural, to kind of understand the fairness of things, even if I don't like them.
Yeah, that's a very good quality. And I think like we said, this is literally our first time being in the same space as each other, and it's making me so happy. But even just from our many hours of trivia, I can see that in you.
Is that because I was yelling at people that were not cheating?
Yes. But also just not when you said non-judgmental, I think that's very true too. Even not that anyone else in the group was, but I think there's for example, me with being in love with the Jonas Brothers, and just liking things that are very basic. My default is self-deprecating about that, because I'm just used to people being like, that's so silly. Yeah. And I'd say things like that, and you'd be like, there's nothing wrong with that, and just make me feel so included and there's not weird at all. So yeah. I see that in you. I
think it's also good to avoid black and white thinking. There's lots of stuff that I like that is also has problems or isn't everything's not perfect.
Yeah.
So, I think it fair criticism is valuable, and as long as it comes without the expectation of perfection.
Yes.
Because you can't, that's just not a thing that exists.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Apart from the movie Melancholia, which is a perfect movie.
There you have it. Okay, the next question is, what's your favorite feeling?
I was trying to figure out, because I was just having the feeling, when you think a thought or you remember an image or whatever, or are you able to just feel the feeling?
Yeah, immediately.
Yeah. So I was feeling the feeling. I was just I'm not sure what that is, because it was a bit mixy. But I think that pride is a good answer. Being proud of myself. Yeah, I think when I do something and I feel like I made an effort, and that effort had results bigger than the sum of its part. Mm-hmm. And then I think I have done something good, or I have helped someone, and that I have added something positive to the world. Then I feel proud of that. I love that, because it's when all your cognitive dissonance with what you should be doing or you shouldn't be doing, or could things be better, have you done something wrong, when all of that, if you in a moment are able for all of that to go quiet and just be yeah, I did something good just then. Yeah. I love that feeling.
Yeah.
It's a peaceful feeling to me.
And being anxious people as well. I feel it's it feels good when, whether it's like intuition based or not, but when you like make a decision and do something that you're like, oh, I feel good about this.
Yeah. And it's a good way to practice purpose, you know, because like the more times you can build up this kind of physical proof that when you're working towards something, that is not a waste, and that the things you decide are important. If you behave in ways that support your values and then you get a positive result from that, that's very good fodder for teaching your body that that's worth the risk of doing in the future.
Yeah, it's like positive reinforcement.
Yeah, that's a very short, much shorter phrase to describe the last couple of paragraphs.
I never even thought about that, but I know the feeling that you're talking about. Like, especially when you see a decision that you've made impact someone else, I think those are the moments where I felt that the most. That's really nice.
I think it's a strategy for when people are in recovery and they're trying to build their self-esteem, is like that's not something that is wishy-washy. It's not just, you know, I know affirmations work for some people, but it's not, it's sort of a waste of time to just convince you to be like, no, it's fine, I'm good, I deserve, maybe I just blah, blah, blah. Because just statements like that can very easily challenged.
Yeah.
But the proof that you just did something that had a practical, tangible, positive result that is emblazoned in the memory of you and everyone around you is a much more solid foundation for trusting yourself than just trying to willpower yourself into trusting yourself, you know?
Yeah.
You need evidence.
This is some Oprah. I feel like I'm talking to Oprah. Oh my God.
Have you seen The Color Purple?
Oh,
because I was in it. I'm Oprah.
It's me.
Yeah.
Oprah.
Yeah.
And I'm Gail. I think as well, like what you said about affirmations, I feel like there's also a negative side to that where some people will be like, okay, well, I'm telling myself I deserve this, so I'm going to get it no matter how I have to get it. Or like if it results in me getting what I want, even if someone else has acted in a negative way or whatever the ramifications are, it doesn't matter to people. I think that's not good. So like what you're saying is a really good point of like, no, if you are actively making choices and like sticking by your values to do things that will result in you getting what you want, it's so much better than people like doing things.
There's also, with what you said, there's for a lot of people who have anxiety or depression or OCD or something like that, where obsessive thought loops is a function of your brain, then the instruction, just think happy thoughts, is not it's not a practical instruction.
No.
And all I care about is practical solutions, instructions that you can actually use, rather than it's no more helpful than just like, oh, you have an illness, have you tried not having that illness?
Have you tried doing yoga?
Yeah, as well, at least yoga is a practical thing, you know?
That's true. Or like put some Windex on it from like My Big Fat Greek Wedding.
Yeah, I just
that
think
movie is good.
It is good. I think I just think hijacking that mechanism just gives that mechanism more power.
Yeah.
Because it's just saying like your thoughts create who you are. It's almost, it gives your thoughts too much power, because then when you have an intrusive violent thought, then you go, well, I guess I'm a violent person.
Yeah.
It's like, no, you're not necessarily. To be able to have thoughts that are out of your control but remain in control of your behavior and how you feel about yourself, is far more helpful than just OCDing, but positive.
As a practical person, do you have like a practical thing that you suggest to do in a situation like that, or like something that you've tried that's worked for you or anything like that?
In which situation? Like
maybe let's say intrusive thoughts specifically. Right.
I'll give an example.
Yeah.
So years ago, I had a breakup, and we weren't even together for a massive amount of time. But I was finding it very hard to get past it, because I just kept thinking about it and just the wound kept being opened, and so I was just like, and it had been months, and I was just like, this isn't sustainable. I can't keep feeling it like this.
Yeah.
So I purposely decided, I was like, okay, whenever I think about him, I'm going to purposely think about something else.
Mm-hmm.
And because in the past people being like, just get over it, or like think about it differently, hasn't actually helped that spiral, because it's your brain cells are firing. The more you go over like a pathway, like literally the accents get thicker.
Yeah.
Like, I might be wrong, I'm not in STEM, but I think that literally the little arms between your little brain cells get thicker on the pathways that your brain goes more often. So
that makes sense. It's like a muscle.
Yeah, exactly. It was also like, I wasn't just ignoring it. It was when it got to the point where I'd already done the work and the feeling wasn't, but I was still getting the trauma feelings. Like, I'd already given it time, I'd wallowed a bit, I'd moved on, intellectually. But yeah, that's not the first thing you do. You don't go like, oh, my arm's broken, think about something else quickly. Yeah.
This is for emotional problems, people.
Yeah.
Not, if you have a physical injury, please see a medical professional.
But also for emotional problems, like, you need to give it the time that it needs. But this is when something is no longer a healthy thing to process, when it has become an unhealthy ghost in your mind.
Yeah. Okay. The next question is, what's your happy place?
In a little bit too cold, in a swimming hole.
Ooh.
In the bush.
Ooh.
Yeah. Like, ideally one where it's like, you've got sort of scrubby bush, and then you've also got rainforesty on the other side of the mountain. So you've got like multiple kind of zones going on.
Yes.
And you're under a waterfall, and it's cold, but it's not so cold that you have to get out straight away.
That sounds beautiful.
I miss it about Queensland.
Yeah. Erin's from Queensland, everyone.
I'm from Queensland. And I didn't realise that just saying to all your friends and being like, hey, let's drive to the creek on Saturday, and everyone being like, hell yeah. Like, I didn't realise that was a Queensland thing. Like, I came here and I was like, when are we going for a bushwalk? And people were like, huh?
There are places. Have you been to the Otways?
I have not. But okay. I'm finding people who are interested. Yeah. It's just like,
I'm interested.
Yes. I won't say the name of the beach that I'm going to take you to, because I respect locals. Yes. No, it's like, I don't want everyone, I don't want the millions of listeners onto this podcast.
Yes, the millions.
Yeah. Coming in here and,
well, you know what's good about us both being artists and not having real jobs is we can just go whenever.
Yeah. Yeah, you'd think.
The next question is, what's your favourite song to cry to?
I don't currently have one, but as a kid, it was Don't Want to Miss a Thing.
Classic.
Yeah, because of Armageddon. And so I have this like really strong memory of jumping on the trampoline, singing, I don't want to miss a thing, and crying while I jumped.
The most joyous thing you can do, jumping on a trampoline, crying.
Yeah, on purpose, while singing Steve Tyler.
Okay, so my favourite thing about Steve Tyler is that Erin just accidentally made my chair just go all the way down. It was very funny.
I don't know how to do it. As you were saying?
My favourite fact about Steven Tyler is that he played Santa in an episode of Liz McGuire.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Really?
And they don't even try and make him look like Santa. He's just Steven Tyler. I think maybe he has a beard. I can't remember. I'll put a picture here if he does or doesn't.
When I think about the timeline of Liz McGuire, that was probably perfectly pitched at the age of the adults.
Yeah.
Yeah, they would know who he is.
Yeah, exactly.
You know how Sesame Street has all those sort of like parody songs of like pop artists, and like they've been doing that the whole time. Like that was their whole thing. But just when I was a little kid, I didn't know that letter B was like a parody of the Beatles, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So as a kid, I didn't understand the references, but it was still, I was like, that's the song about the letter B.
Yeah, and then all of our parents were like, we understand this joke. Okay, the next question is, who's someone you admire?
Grimes. I know a lot of people have feelings about her dating and having a kid with Elon Musk. Honestly, I don't know much about him or that or the politics of it.
Yeah.
But I know her as an artist and have followed her for years. I wasn't around for her very first sort of EPs and releases, but she's someone who has fought tooth and nail for her creative vision and her autonomy, and she went to art school as well, so she does all the artwork. And
that's cool.
And Grimes is actually the name of the project.
Ah.
Kind of like a bit like Jamiroquai, like it is her, but her name, like I guess it's kind of hard to.
So is it kind of like a persona?
I'm not entirely sure, but it's. Okay, I'm not allowed to sit on the stage anymore.
Oh my god.
It was like in a movie, as if someone was panning away from me, except it was me. Okay, so what I did is I adjusted my feet and I like made the stool go down again. It's a very sensitive handle.
It is.
Alright, so I'm gonna kneel on it. That way
That's a great idea. That's a great idea. Are you going to be comfortable?
Yeah. For a bit. Until this happens again. And we're back. Yeah. So basically, she was real underground, real poor in Canada. Just came up through like the underground electronic scenes and alternative grungy kind of scenes there, and basically like sacrificed relationships, like friendships, just all the time that you spend on those things, just because she knew that this was the most important thing to establish in her life, so musical career. And sometimes it was hard to find singers, or she couldn't find the right sound. What I love about her as a musician is she just cares about sound, you know. So, and if she couldn't find it, she would just sing. But she didn't see herself as a singer until very recently, after basically being a musician for over a decade. And because she's a producer first, so she's making sounds, she's making songs, she's making music. And I really admire her strength in doing things her way. Like there's in documentaries and stuff about where people be like, oh my God, I love her. You know, her voice is like a little kid. And she's like, I have a speech impediment. Yeah. This is not girly. Like, it's not like infantile. Like, listen to my fucking music, you know? She'd say that people would email, you know, being like, oh, I'd love to work with you. I'd love to produce one of your songs. And Grimes would be like, stop emailing me asking if you can do my job.
Ooh, what a bad bitch move.
Well, yeah, it's like emailing Steven Spielberg and saying like, oh man, loved your movie, I can direct something for you.
Yeah.
You know? And when you think of it like that, how ridiculous it is. But it's just such a natural behavior towards female presenting musicians.
Yeah, for sure.
To be like, oh my God, like, you're pretty cool. Do you want me to help you? Like, she doesn't need your help. No. And that made me mad about the Elon thing, where people were like, oh, well, this is clearly a gold digger. Like, you don't know what you're talking about.
No.
Like, she doesn't need him. She doesn't need anything from anyone, because she's fought her whole career for everything that she has.
They just seem like two weirdos in love.
Oh, yeah, they just love robots. It's a nerd thing.
Okay, the next question is, what's some weird kid stuff you used to do?
Oh, so what came to mind is I got chicken pox one time, and I had long blonde hair down to my butt, and then Mum would do my hair in the morning, and then the brush would go through the hair and get the scab from the chicken pox, and it would pull, and then because my hair was so long, it would pull the whole way down to the end of my long hair. So very painful. So I ended up like trying to scratch all the scabs out so that it wouldn't hurt. But then once I was better from the chicken pox, but I had kind of like liked the feeling. So I just went outside, I got dirt and I just put dirt in my hair so that I could scratch it out. I was like, it was like calming.
Oh my God. Dirt. That's so funny. I would have never thought to be like scabs equals dirt.
Well, I was just like,
Dirt
I need
scabs.
something to scratch out.
Yeah, I have that. That's like, I'm one of those people that when I'm really anxious, I like pick at my finger beds things, my cuticles and my scalp. And I have like pretty intense dandruff and always have. And also have like psoriasis on my head. So I'll just like pick it. I love picking scabs. It's really bad. It's gross.
Have you used like Cell Sun?
Yeah.
Doesn't work?
Yeah, it does. No, it does.
It does
I use
work.
it today.
Okay. Oh, it looks glorious.
Thank you. Yeah, I definitely, I do take care of it, and I've got like a special brush, like in shower scrubby thing, so you get it all off.
My hair is like princess hair.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, and then the last question is, do you think aliens are real?
Yes, but not necessarily in this universe.
Whoa. Okay, we've never had that answer. What does that mean?
I can't remember what all the other answers are, so I might be doubling up. But
That's okay.
basically, to me, what determines whether there are aliens and other life in this universe, and when I say to me, I mean this is what Stephen Hawking told me in a book. And I may have
He does know best.
I may have misinterpreted what he said also.
Okay.
And this was many years ago, but what has stuck in my brain is basically based on the statistical likeliness. So if we're in a universe where the probability is that there will be life once, then we're alone in the universe.
Okay.
If we're in a universe where the probability of life is super high, then there'll be heaps of aliens. But we don't know which type of universe we're in.
Because we don't know enough about it yet.
And also that seems to be an impossible thing to know. But also, like, people go, we can't be the only one. They can't be the only one. We could be the only ones. We could be the only ones if we're in a universe where the probability is that life will occur once. We could be the only ones if we are the first instance of life.
Wow.
Yeah, because there would have been a first organism. It would be like the little amoebas millions of years ago being like, we can't be the only ones. It's just like, hey, buddy, it's you right now.
Yeah.
You know, and then later there might be aliens, but maybe we're just
that's right.
We might be the amoebas, and the other aliens will exist, but they don't exist yet.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
This is a new theory to me.
Yeah. Like, we could literally be the only life in the universe right now. You know, I think they found some stuff on Mars that indicates bacterial life.
Yeah.
But we could be the first solar system. But they are finding heaps of planets that seem like they could support life in the way that we understand it, like Earth-like planets.
Yeah.
There are lots of those. But we don't know what stage of their development of the life cycle of those planets is. Like, we could literally be alone because we're the first ones, or we could be the last ones.
Honestly, that seems more likely at the moment, just because of the year that we've had.
Well, because the universe is expanding, right?
Yeah.
So eventually the universe will go, if that keeps happening and the universe just keeps expanding, it could basically, it's dragging all the stuff. There's still heaps of the same amount of stuff in it, but if it expands so big that it drags everything so far away from each other that the light is slower than the expansion, that means that something would be so far away you can never see the light from it, which just means that it would all be black. So the universe could basically exist in a cold state with all the stuff still there, but just so far away. So it's like, if we're moved towards that too fast, then by the time more aliens develop, or by the time they get technology that we may not even be able to see anything, let alone contact them.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, we'd be dead by then because the sun would be so far away and everything. But when I say, like, there could be other types of life, but they may end up isolated.
Yeah.
We could be isolated right now.
Wow. The idea that it might just be us and we do things like go to Spotlight blows my mind.
Well, the thing is just that I also think like, yeah, we might be alone and people don't like that. If people find comfort that there is some sort of secret knowledge.
Yeah.
That we don't know, but don't worry, somebody knows.
Yeah, it's definitely comforting to me to be like, okay, well, we don't matter. So you're an artist and an astrophysicist. Wow. I'm learning so much about you. You have so much knowledge.
If anyone with any real understanding listened to this, they'd be like, that is a child. That is a toddler's understanding.
No. If that was a toddler's understanding, my understanding is like an embryo's understanding.
I mean, maybe.
So don't worry. We've answered all the questions.
Yeah.
And now we're going to talk about the topic.
Mm-hmm.
Would you like to begin?
The topic that I've chosen is changing your mind.
Mm-hmm.
Because it is an important, and because I kept changing my mind about what the topic should be.
So it seemed fitting.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie. That's why.
Okay, well, how about we start with what were the other topics that you had thought of, and then what made you change your mind to this?
So I thought about being right. I thought about being wrong. I thought about the nature of truth. I thought about the idea of honesty and whether that's actually a virtue or not. Those kind of things all go around changing your mind. And I think changing your mind and being able to change your mind is a important skill. And I think that it kind of ties into what I like about myself, which is being fair as well, but it's not the same thing. I think I'm also a very people think that I'm stubborn.
Mm-hmm.
And then in the past I've been in like an argument with someone and they're like, oh, you always have to be right, you're so stubborn, blah blah blah. But what I actually am is I'm someone who needs to know why. Some people see that as oppositional. But if I'm in an argument with someone and I'd be like, why this? If they say, oh, because of this, then I'm able to go, hey, that's a fair point, and change how I feel and think about it.
Yeah.
And in the past, if people have the idea that you're stubborn, or sometimes people get in a fight just because they want to have a fight, they don't really actually care about the content.
Yes.
So then if they're sort of trying to provoke you because they want to fight, if you then go, oh, that's a good point, you're right, then it's a bit like
throws them off.
Or shock, because they weren't actually trying to convince you of a good point. They were just trying to hurt you, or they were trying to know that you love them by making you show that you like getting an emotional reaction to try and think that you care about it.
That's very real.
Yeah, so there's all this stuff that goes into it. So I want to be able to change my mind because I'm not under any delusions that my point of view is the only point of view that is valid or has merit or makes sense. And I feel very unstable if I'm confused or if things don't make sense. So if someone else presents an argument to me that makes sense, then I will be like, hell yeah, I'm changing my mind. People get so firmly enmeshed their identity with an idea, then things that don't fit neatly into their experience feel like a threat. Like, have you seen that meme?
Did not expect this to be going towards memes.
Everything is going towards memes. There's a meme of something where there's like someone being like, the right doesn't have to destroy the left. The left will be destroyed by other leftists with slightly different ideas.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. So I also, in a broad sense, I think that when people have very black and white thinking or have no room for grey or no room for ambivalence, they try to apply blanket truths or blanket solutions to problems that are not blanket problems, or create problems where there aren't any. or assume that other people's, in other situations, in other cultures, priorities are the same as theirs. Being flexible is different from being wishy-washy.
Okay, so what's the biggest thing that you ever like changed your mind about, do you think?
Probably the biggest change has been going from fully evangelical Christian as a kid and going through the gradient of changing from that being my worldview to now, which is an atheist worldview, and going through the stages between them.
Yeah.
Over years when I was an adolescent. So that sort of gives me insight to people who are all along that spectrum of people who are sort of spiritual, people who believe in God but aren't part of a church, people who are part of a strict church, and people who are agnostic but don't really want to say that they're atheists for whatever reason. You know, I have an entry point to understanding people all along that spectrum because I've gone through the process of changing my fundamental belief about my place in the universe, you know?
Which is such a rare thing as well. I don't think a lot of people experience that change.
Yeah, well, a lot of people do, but they don't
maybe even notice that they have, or maybe they don't really phrase it in that way.
It may not always be purposeful on purpose. It also may not also be something they get support in.
Yeah.
So this is something I've talked about with the psych in the past as well, that obviously, you know, there's a lot more that we need to do in supporting people who go through bad things. Like, that's always going to be true. But if someone stabs you and hurts you,
please don't.
Yeah, then most people around us are going to be like, yeah, that's wrong. You're the bad guy. Don't stab her.
Yes.
You know, but with religion, if you're a person who's gone through a bad experience or been traumatized by it in some way, when you walk around in the world, that thing is upheld as a virtue. So for some people who have had bad experiences with that, they're walking around with like billboards saying the person who stabbed you is virtuous. The person who stabbed you was right to do so, and if you were a better person, you wouldn't be hurting.
Wow.
I'm saying that there's a lot of external pressure to uphold the sanctity and of the thing that in their life has hurt them. So it's kind of like if someone stabbed me, then everyone would be on board with me being like, fuck that guy, you know. But if religion has hurt me and I go, fuck religion, everyone's like, whoa, 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 whoa. Yeah. Religion's a good guy. You know, what was wrong with you that you got hurt by that guy?
It's always fun to be like, well, there's obviously something inside of you that needs to be fixed or changed rather than the institution, when clearly there are many institutions, not just religion, but like that have done bad things. Yeah.
I didn't mean for this to be about religion, but it's just an example of where not being able to hold multiple ideas as true, that this could be a good thing for someone, but it could also be a bad thing for other people. Like clinging too hard to your concept of a thing means that people really get hurt. Yeah. Because you're more interested in the idea and preserving whatever your personal sense of self is related to that, than going, hey, I want to hear that thing that is challenging to me, but I want to hear it. Yeah. And I want to think about it, and I might change I might change my mind. Yeah. There's also the thing of like with relationships that in the past when I was younger, I stayed with people way, way longer.
Yeah, same.
Than I should have, because I had the idea that, you know, I was stuck or that I should be making it work. Yeah. When now looking back, I'm just like, the easiest thing in the world would be to change my mind about whose house I went to. You know? Yeah, yeah. Whose house did you go to after uni? Yeah. You know, you can change that. So easy. But...
Or like, oh, I don't want to be treated badly anymore. Why don't I decide to not deal with that? Yeah.
A way that I think about it in my brain is problematic. But but I think about Seinfeld, right? Like the show. Because in the show, it's all about dating. And when they date someone, if that person was weird or that person did something that made them uncomfortable or whatever, when they talk about it to their friends, they wouldn't keep a secret. That was very helpful for the plot of a sitcom.
Yes.
I understand. I understand it's not real life. I know Seinfeld is not a doco.
But also you should talk to your friends about any problems if you trust them.
I'd keep it secret, then after the relationship I'd tell them and they'd be like, that's no good. And I was like, I didn't want to talk shit. You know?
Yeah, I mean everyone's done that.
Yeah. But yeah, if someone wasn't treating them well, they discarded that person, you know, and they didn't feel bad about themselves. Whereas for me, if someone has treated me unfairly, I feel guilty for their behavior.
Yeah, same.
You know, it's crazy.
I think that's a very like I said, we both have anxiety, and then also on top of that, being women, sadly, we're like conditioned to do that in relationships.
Yeah, exactly. Like you take on the responsibility for the whole relationship when it's like, oh no, that person's responsible for how they treat me, but also I'm not responsible for changing them.
Yeah, and also like taking care of them and their emotions. I think that's a very common thing, especially with like straight males, is like they truly do think that if they're with a girl that they are like responsible for their emotions, because they often don't talk to other people about them, whereas girls, I find, I mean this is a generalization so I might be wrong, but I feel like often girls will talk to their friends, even just their friends, and talking to your friends about how you're feeling is going to do more for the way that you deal with your emotions than if you just only talk to your mother or your girlfriend. Like no wonder guys think that their girlfriends like are replacements for their mothers, because they only associate their like emotional stuff with those two relationships. Not every man, but generalizing here.
That's the thing that you have, being willing to change is important there as well. Like things that make you uncomfortable, you know, you might be able to put it off for a long time, but it's going to come and get you.
Yes.
You know, it's going to come and get you, especially like getting to, because I'm older than you, so I'm early 30s. Like if you're not square with who you are, it will become very difficult later. Yeah. You know? Or if you can't change your mind about someone or something, you know, you see a lot with like, I think with younger guys especially, where they'll bitch about their friend, their mate, their shithead mate, who is like negatively impacting real life in every way, and you'll be like, well, stop talking to them. They'll be like, oh, they're my friend. I'm like, you're choosing for them to be your friend. They haven't been cast as your friend.
Yes.
You know?
That's a good way to put it.
I'm just like, oh, I can't. Or in relationships for me, it'd be like, oh, I can't. I don't want to upset them or whatever. And it's just like, I don't want to upset them by acknowledging the fact that everything they're doing is upsetting me. And it's just like, why is them being upset more important than me being upset?
Yes, exactly.
It's not quite the same as changing your mind, but it's changing your mind about what's important.
Yeah, reprioritizing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because your situation will change, and you won't want the same things every moment of your life that you wanted now, you wanted in a different situation, you wanted with someone else. So if your self-image is static and doesn't have room for more,
yeah, it's detrimental. And not just like, and even in like, I've been thinking about this a lot with like career stuff. I think if you have, like how you said, you've always wanted to be an artist in some way, I think a lot of times when people know what they want to do, I hear a lot of people say, like in my case, like, oh, you've always wanted to know what you want to do, like that's a blessing or whatever, because you know you're not wondering. And I do see the other side of that being difficult as well, like not knowing what you want to do. But I think something that people who really know exactly what they want can fall into is like when things start to either like not work out or they do notice themselves not wanting that anymore, they just push it away and they just like double down and like, no, I've put all this time, all this energy into it. Yeah. Same with relationships. And then you end up wasting more time rather than in that moment being like, okay, well, I'm going to do what makes me happy rather than what I am expected to do.
Yeah. When I was in uni, I did a Bachelor of Animation and I wanted to quit halfway and I got convinced to stay. Mm-hmm. And I spent more time regretting that than I spent more time regretting staying in that degree for 3 years than I actually spent doing the degree, you know. Yeah. I could have just changed my mind or taken it, put it on pause and come back later to it. Not being able to get past the investment cost, like the loss that you've invested, really ruins people's lives.
Yeah, it takes so much extra time from you.
Yeah.
I feel like the best thing to do is if you notice yourself like shifting. I think it's hard with like, okay, so in relation to relationships, I think, at least in my experience, tell me if you disagree or agree, when I've noticed something changing and like there's a moment when you know it's not working anymore or like something's off, that lingers a lot more, I feel, with relationships. But I feel like when it's what you want to do, there's a moment where you know exactly like, I don't want to do this anymore. But so many people choose just because of, like I said, the investment to just stick it out.
Yeah. Or they've built too much around it.
Yeah.
That they feel like too much is at stake.
When like ultimately no one cares what you do. Maybe your parents or like, you know, your close friends, like as long as you're not hurting anyone, if you choose to do something different and you're like doing the right thing by yourself and like being true to yourself, it does not matter. So
I really like sea creatures and I like going snorkeling and I learned to scuba, but I've only done it that one time. And I have a little list in my phone that I found when I was looking for a note that I've made. It was just a list I made of animals that I saw in 2019. I just had a list of all the different types of animals.
That's so cute.
And I just realised I told you about the platypus earlier.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah.
You can add that to your list.
Yeah. I really like sea life and whales and turtles and things like that. Octopus, squid.
Erin has knowledge about every animal also, by the way. That's like your secret weapon.
It's too broad. That was the problem with finding a topic, is that I have a little bit of broad knowledge about a lot of things rather than intense specialized knowledge.
I have to say, that's what you think. You have everything that we've spoken about. You seem to have way more knowledge about each individual thing than I know about like my life story.
Yeah, but the podcast is asking me questions about things that I know.
But that's what I mean. But I'm saying I've been me my entire life. I should know all this stuff. I should be the smartest person about me, and you are smarter about like things that you think you don't understand. That's me just trying to just highlight how intelligent you are.
That's very funny. That's very funny. But also, yes, you can. I love being called intelligent, so I'm real happy about this.
Yeah, great.
Thank you. You've given me my love languages. You tell me I'm smart.
You're smart.
And love language.
Great. And then mine is you braid my hair.
Yeah, that's happening.
Great.
That's happening. You can have we're securely attached.
Amazing.
So yes. I really like sea creatures, and I think, and with my regret of what I did of staying in uni, I was like, why didn't I do biology at school? Why didn't I do marine biology at uni? Mm-hmm. And then I was like, well, I wasn't interested yet.
Yeah.
You can't be the person you're becoming until you are that person. You know, I don't know what I'm going to be super interested in when I'm 50. One, because those things probably don't exist yet. How can I be interested in them?
Wow.
I don't know them. They haven't been written. Those books haven't been written. That concept hasn't been popularized.
Yeah.
The things that... And that's sort of to do with art as well, because sometimes I walk past a book and there's so many books, I'm just like, oh, the world doesn't need another book. And I'm like, well, somebody who hasn't had their thoughts explained in a way that they made them feel at peace with themselves. Maybe they could read 1,000 books, but what they want to read is some shitty little joke I wrote.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, like just because there are a lot of books and a lot of amazing books, and I could never possibly discover them all. You know, like the capacity for connecting with others is infinite.
Yeah.
You know, so whatever you want to make, because it's probably because it's something that you haven't seen yet. And the fact that, yeah, maybe it already exists in some random bookshelf, or somebody in 1863 felt exactly the same as you. So it's not original.
Yeah.
That doesn't matter.
No.
Like, you don't know about that, and there's probably someone who needs to hear what you've got to say that isn't hearing it from anyone around them.
Definitely.
Yeah, that's so... I don't remember how I got here. I just mean, like, expecting yourself to care and to like and to everything exactly the same way as you do right now isn't just a waste of your, like, time. It's like, it's diminishing. You know, it's refusing to see yourself as someone who can be affected.
Yeah.
And that's the whole thing of change, is that you want to be open to new things so that you can be changed by them.
And, like, I think I've definitely had moments where I look back and be like, oh, why didn't I do this thing at this point? It's like, well, you're not the person, you weren't that person yet.
Yeah.
It was impossible for you to even know that that's what you liked. If you hadn't experienced all these things,
yeah,
whether good or bad, that led you to be who you are now, you wouldn't even understand that you needed that change in the first place. And you would have probably done the exact same thing you were doing, even if you had this knowledge, because you would be like, well, I haven't had that experience, so why would I choose this thing?
Yeah. When I was around 21, I had a lot of friends who were around 30, because my boyfriend was like 25 and his friends were older. So I was the younger girlfriend and he had older friends.
Yeah.
Which was really cool because I was around people whose lives were different than mine. And I just remember asking one of them, you know, just tell me everything that I need to know. You know, I don't want to have to learn them all. Like, you've got a decade of extra knowledge, tell me the important things so that I know them.
Yeah.
And he was like, no, you have to learn the things that you need to learn. I was just like, yeah, I'm trying to learn them. I'm trying to learn them. Tell me and I will have learned them.
I'll write a book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just because I thought it was it's not pieces of knowledge.
No.
You know, you can't just go like, these are the 5 things every single human needs to know, and then you'll be fine.
Because it's different for every person. And on the topic of changing your mind, you can actually change what things you, not like with religion, what you believe in and what like actually speaks to you and makes you be like, oh my God, I learned this thing. You might learn something and then completely unlearn it as well. If someone came to me, like someone like 10 years younger than me came to me and was like, what should I learn? I would just like send them a link to like a meme page that has like thoughtful quotes and be like, here you go, this is everything.
There's a lot of good memes.
Yeah.
To be honest. I love
memes. Memes save the world.
Memes are good. Well, that's the thing, is like, what you need is different as you grow and change. And what is helpful is not always helpful. Like, if you're young and what's important to you is new experiences, and then you go and travel, like, just to be as cliche as possible, then that is important, and that is what you need to do, and that is what you need to learn. And later, if you need stability or you need to focus or then those things are not contradictory.
No.
You know, one of those things is not more important than the other.
No. And time is like so weird. And
it exist?
Does it exist?
I don't know.
The idea of like telling yourself that you're only going to be one way for however many years we're like lucky enough to live is insane. Like thinking about, and also like, for example, other things can throw wrenches in what you want to do and make you change your mind as well. Like when I have really bad bouts with my chronic pain, I like can't do things that I might want to do. It's like, and it like forces me to have to change my mind, because I'm like, well, I physically can't do this thing right now. And I think if you're more open to the fact that things are going to have to change, it's less of a like devastation when things like that happen, because whether it's that or it's like someone passing away or whatever it is, something's always going to happen eventually that's going to throw you off whatever the path you think you're on is.
It doesn't mean don't make plans.
No.
It doesn't mean don't.
I'm a huge control freak.
Well, yeah, like part of getting older is getting comfortable with uncertainty. You know, if all you know to be true is just everything that's currently in your head right now, you know, that's a very narrow breadth of experience and knowledge.
Yeah.
You know, and I had a friend a long time ago who would just believe anything that he read. Just anything that he read. And he'd be like,
God.
you've got to have an open mind. And
that's not what an open mind is.
it's not...
It's being gullible.
It's more like in the past there've been stuff that I've got a weird feeling about that, or like that doesn't seem true, but then it's only later that I've learned why, or like it's only later that I've learned more or experienced more or figured out more, and I've been like, oh, that's why that thing was fucked. You know?
Yeah.
You can't be prepared for every single thing that's going to happen to you. You can't be prepared for every idea that's going to come to you.
No.
Or every challenge, or you cannot expect every person to have the same priorities as you, you know, and that it doesn't make them bad. It doesn't make you bad.
No.
You know?
Mm-hmm. Just the whole, it just summarizes the whole point. Like, it's so much better to be open to the grey of things than be black and white and be like, no, this is what it is or this is what it is, because there's so much in between.
Yeah. But that doesn't mean you accept bad treatment. You know, you have to be open to changing your mind, you know, to be like, hey, no, this relationship isn't serving me. Hey, no, this situation is actually unfair. And, or hey, no, this thing, this dream or this concept that I've been putting all this time into is actually a waste of my energy, you know, and just being open to change does not mean being washed around like a leaf on a river. Like it's not wishy-washy. It doesn't mean that you don't have strong beliefs. It doesn't mean that you don't have a strong sense of self and strong sense of purpose. It just means that you are not so fragile that you cannot encompass more than what you currently are into your reality.
You're not like a failure or like letting anything down to let go of things.
Yeah.
Like
yes,
it's
exactly.
not, doesn't make you a bad person, doesn't make you like any less or any different to who you are if you are just doing what's right for you rather than what you think you're supposed to be doing.
And I think it's not like, if you spent your time doing something that hasn't worked out, that time was not a waste in the past. That has brought you to where you are now, which is like, you can't be less than what you were. You know, every experience adds to you. Like, I know that can kind of ring hollow if you've just gone through a super bad experience or grief or trauma or whatever. Yes, so you can feel worse. I'm not saying you can't feel worse.
Yeah.
But the amount of things that make you up is like that universe. You keep expanding, you know?
Okay. That was very tangenty, but in a really constructive way, I think. So I'm proud of us.
Yeah. Let's call it like vaguely insightful.
Yes. Oh, very insightful.
Very vaguely.
Yeah, vaguely. Where can everyone find everything that you're up to, and is there anything you want to plug right now?
I want to plug my Instagram and my Twitter, because my Instagram is where I'll post about stand-up shows or any upcoming gallery shows for my artwork, and that is at Erin Makes Creative Choices. And then my Twitter is at Erin Michelle BRB.
Be right back.
Like be right back. And that one's mostly just stupid jokes.
They're very good.
Yeah, thank you. I like writing jokes.
You're very good at it.
Thank you.
If you want to follow me on anything, you can find me at Ashley Crap App on everything. New episodes every Wednesday. streaming Mondays and Thursdays. You can find all the info in the link or on my Instagram and everything. And that's everything. Erin, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Oh my God, anytime.
Follow me on stuff.
Follow her, please. And follow me too.
Bye.
Bye.